this statement, and we were like, what? I went up to the table with the same men and I said, listen, this is not appropriate, this is missing, this is missing. They looked at me and they said, and I said, you know what, give it to me, I will rewrite it for you. And I got this response, and I won't say which men, but you can imagine they looked at me like I'd offered to shoot them in the head. Like I stood up there and said, why? But all I said was, look, I will rewrite this for you. I offered my services for free. Nobody paid my passage and my hotel bill. I was staying by my uncle, sleeping on the sofa. So we have the solutions and we have the capacity, and what we're reaching out to you to say, this has to change. The voices that are here alongside other voices of African Queen Mother warriors and African King Father warriors, the men who stand with us and inner stand and overstand our role in creation. We have the solutions. We're working with them. Some of them are involved with the work we do.
I want to read this section because what we've done is we have offered a 2025 version of
Mm-hmm.
what we were saying in 2015. So the continuum is great. And I quote, Eurocentric paradigms which ignore established African centered traditions and life practices are not conducive to our demand for reparatory justice. As the African Union hosts the annual International Summit on the theme of 2015, Year of Women's Empowerment and Development towards Africa's Agenda 2063, and the world commemorates, memorializes, and celebrates African Liberation Day, African women must be respected. In unity with our brothers and sisters of humanity, African queen mothers and revolutionary women warriors have united in order to have our voices heard by publishing this international statement. The issues raised herein are being shared in the spirit of love, peace, harmony, reciprocity, truth, justice, order, and balance. And I share that segment because what we've just said has reiterated what we had to say sitting after being dismissed from an event that was happening on the year. Notice what the theme was in 2015, Year of Women's Empowerment and Development.
Oh, the irony.
And so and again, we're seeing that some things, and I like to bring it to where we are now, as we're having this convening, there have been a host of initiatives, recognizing the anniversary of the Pan-African Conference in London over 100, I believe, 25 years ago, right? And our beloved African Queen Mother warrior, Sister Esther, was able to be, again, I'm so grateful that we had the representation and someone engaged in that piece. We've seen that there's been a declaration that has come from that. We're praying that that is something that had not been subjected to the same experience that we had, that declarations come forward without the full respectful vetting from those present as well as those that were not present, usually for economic or the scheduling reasons. I think it's really important to know that while we're having this convening and this reasoning, that many of our thousands of our sisters and brothers are converging into the United Nations headquarters in New York. Maybe not the best time in light of what's happening in the 48 contiguous United Snakes of America. And I say it like that intentionally because right now it's very serpentine, not serpentine Kundalini positive, but serpentine very reptilian, very challenging. And we're praying for the safety of everyone that's going in and out of New York, in and out of US immigration, in and out this ICE experience with this administration that is quite hostile to anything ancestral, ancient, African, Black, non Eurasian, non European. Let me be very clear, right?
And
Very
very
destructive.
destructive and dismantling at the moment.
Of course. I mean, anarchy and fascism at the same time, it just looks least we know what it looks like in 21st century version. I think that that's the part that is very important for persons to know. So while the Permanent Forum for People of African Descent is having its fourth session hosted in this space, that may not be the safest space, but we're praying for there to be some positivity that comes from that. We're also looking at some